It seems like most things are getting fixed with this Project Resolve overhaul, but other key elements are being left out. Now, I don't expect everything to get resolved, but at least it should make sense. And real quick, before we get started, a like on the video would be super appreciated. Also subscribing to help me reach my goals. It's easy and free. Just do this. But let's get back to the discussion, and here's what I mean when I say at least the changes should make sense. I made a video about the expertise system being a lot less expensive. Well, after further testing, realized that it's not actually perfect. It's good, but the only actual thing that costs less is the expertise. And what you need to realize is that every single piece of gear and every weapon must be optimized before they're even allowed to get expertise. Optimization is not cheap at all. Then you've got tinkering. This also requires so many materials to fully upgrade your weapon, or if it's a piece of gear. The point is, this whole expertise is an entire system with several steps to get to that point. And if you're going to reduce the cost of one thing, then it should be done for all. Let's talk about talents now. And in this, I want you to chime in below to help me help the devs decide which ones are useless and need to be either changed or removed completely. Here's my opinion about a few that's been on my mind. For one, we have entrenched. If you're below 30% armor, headshots from cover repair 20% of your armor. Okay, now I'm a rifle guy. I really enjoy using them, especially the urban MDR. And this talent called entrenched used to be very good. But what changed is this: when they added the cooldown, with the damage being received in both PvE and PvP in general, a cooldown renders this talent useless. Bottom line. On the contrary, without the cooldown makes entrenched a very balanced talent. Because if you're skilled enough in landing headshots, you get rewarded for your efforts. You also must be in cover, so it's not too OP. Headshots are not at all easy to consistently land, so the cooldown just kills the talent. Just look at this gameplay from my Urban Legend build I made over 3 years ago in the Dark Zone. A talent like this has really great potential for those who like to excel in skill-based combat, and there's not a lot that you have to do to change this. Just remove the cooldown. Now, I'm not going to go over all of the talents here. This video's purpose is to encourage those who are watching to comment below to express their ideas as to what needs change. But here's another one. Reassigned. Killing an enemy adds 1 round of special ammo into your sidearm. Completely useless in my opinion. First of all, you have these special ammo boxes around the map that you can fill your entire magazine up with. Shock ammo, fire ammo, whatever. This is useless. Completely. And being that pistols can't really do anything significant unless it's an exotic. Maybe bring back holstered talents if you're not going to make any real changes to the pistols in general. At least they'd be a viable solution. Speaking of holstered talents, another holstered talent could be the card custom. Instead of you being required to hold it, just as long as you have it on your person, you should be allowed to get that skill tier. There used to be one called stop, drop, and roll. This made it so that if you were afflicted with a status effect, dodge rolling would remove the effect immediately. Now, this would be a great way to mitigate players abusing status effects, but make sure you add a cooldown to stop, drop, and roll so the players getting affected won't abuse this mechanic either. But this whole status effect diminishing returns thing that's being added is not enough. Sadly, I think status effects would still be too OP and would kill players before the diminishing returns could even kick in. Because here's the thing about status effects in general. They have skill damage added to their initial point of impact. For example, a bleed hive not only bleeds the opponent, the drones that are sent out also damage the enemy on impact, then the bleed applies. This impact damage is either explosive damage or skill damage, and both of these damages, the impact following the bleed status effects, makes it impossible to defend against at times, especially with a player needing to be at least 3 skill tiers to disable a 6-tier skill. But this is not the only case. With the bleed hive, all the status effects do this. The Chem Launcher Firestarter does it as well. Here's my suggestion. For status effect specific skills, maybe don't have an initial impact damage. Instead, just let the status apply the damage alone. Now, I don't mind that certain skills have impact damage, like a seeker mine or artillery turret. That actually makes sense, but there are some skills that are clearly an outlier when they come to the way they deal damage. Okay, this right here is an important one. The armor imbalance in relation to damage output. Because so many players use Fox's Prayer and Contractor's Gloves to exponentially increase their damage output, and regardless to what armor, it shouldn't be 2.1 million and dishing out damage like a DPS player with 936k armor. This is simply imbalanced and unfair, but I believe there's a solution that will most definitely help with this. Implementing something like this will force players to use other weapon types and relinquish the standard meta builds that we all see. And this idea comes from someone who commented on one of my latest build videos, and I thought it was genius. He said, and I quote, "Man, that contractors and foxes is upsetting. I hope that in the next update they make them tie with a specific weapon or only get the bonus if you use LMG or rifle." Bye bye meta BS. Now, I sincerely believe that this would help a ton, because if you change the Fox's prayer knee pads targets that'll cover damage to rifles only, it will force players to use them. So many weapons I can think of that this would benefit. The urban MDR, the named MK17's everlasting gaze, the exotic diamondback, and more. The contractor's gloves will make LMG weapons more relevant. Now, you need to be careful because LMGs are already pretty powerful, but you get my point. And for other weapons like SMGs, change the named firm handshake gloves to close range damage or something. Get rid of the status effects on it. Status effects is already powerful enough. It's even getting nerfed, so that's definitely not needed. And one more thing, change the named Fenris chest piece to mid-range multiplicative damage, but make the requirement that they need to be in cover. There's so much that could be done to balance these insane damage exchanges out. I don't have anything more to say about this right now. I'm sure that after playing phase 2 of the PTS, I'll think of more, but for now, that's all I've got. Please share your concerns down below in the comment section. What do you think is useless? What do you think needs to be changed in terms of talents? Let me know what you think of my ideas. But at the end of the day, I appreciate you watching my video. If this was insightful to you in any way, a like on the video will be super appreciated. Also, subscribe if you're new here. I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.